Greetings friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I would like us to look at only two pairs, that is AUDUSD and New Zealand dollar USD. These are pairs that I think will be giving us very strong moves of more than 500 pips, each of them. And so it's something worth paying attention to. Now, when we begin with AUDUSD, I'm going to be using weekly charts for both pairs. We can see that on a weekly chart, we have this lower bottom and we have this upper level. So we can see that we have this being, in my opinion, the top line or the upper line of the rectangle, and this being the lower line of the rectangle. So clearly, this is a consolidation on a weekly chart. Now, this being a weekly chart, the range itself is so huge and it cannot be ignored. In fact, it's almost 1,000 pips. So when we go to lower time frame charts, we can actually find opportunities and we see how to benefit from such moves. Now, since price has been bouncing from up and down, we can see that price failed from above and it failed from below. So each time it comes to this lower zone, buyers step in and push price up. Each time price tests this zone, the upper zone, sellers step in and push price to the downside. So in my opinion, when we look at this pattern that is happening on the right side, the most recent pattern, we can see that price is clearly getting rejected in the zone where it has been rejected previously. This one failed to reach, this one failed to reach, but we can consider this, we can consider this. So in my opinion, there is a high likelihood that after failing in this zone, this buying momentum on a weekly chart is likely going to give us good buying opportunities back into this key level. So as of now, I'm looking for entry setups to buy this pair on lower time frame, but I'm so interested in buying, if possible, on Monday, just after the weekend, because we don't know what will happen during the weekend. But most likely, this move or this buying pressure will be continuing upwards into that zone before we can get another selling opportunity. Now, the possibility of price continuing to downside is also still there. One, we can see that between where the red line is, or between this previous lower row on this chart and where price is now, there is some gap whereby price can continue fluctuating within this zone, as we can see that it is now in a tight consolidation. When you go to a daily chart, you will see it clearly. So in this case, if price continues to bounce in this zone and eventually comes to this line, I am going to stay aside. I am only looking for buying opportunities, and in case price breaks below this line, to me, still that will be an extension. Most likely, I'll be waiting to see what happens next. If price consistently fails to come back upwards again, then it may give us a selling opportunity. But for me now, the main idea is to look for buying opportunities, whereby I am looking for failures on lower time frame, and I believe that I will be buying the move that goes to the upside. Let's now look at the next pair, which is New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Now, in the same way, we can see that we have this upper line, we have this lower line. Price bounces from up, it bounces from down. It bounces, fails to break this one, or bounces from up and comes to the downside. So recently, we can see that price again bounced from this lower zone, and with momentum on a weekly chart, momentum that goes to the upside or points to the upside, which means that this pair is likely to go back up into this previous zone. In other words, taking this as a rectangle, we are saying this is the upper line of the rectangle, this is the lower line of the rectangle. I prefer calling them zones because sometimes price may not reach the line, like we can see here. It did not reach the line. But to me, this is the upper zone. The whole of this is the upper zone of the rectangle, and the whole of this is the lower zone of the rectangle. So having bounced from this lower zone over rectangle on a weekly chart, in my opinion, price is likely going to be taking us upwards more into or again into this previous upper zone of the rectangle. Of course, as I said, I'm not saying that I will be entering right now. I prefer entering next week. And of course, now this coming week being the last week of the month, it's really going to be risky to just enter anyhow. So we will be patient to wait for other confirmation signals, and then we'll be able to buy this move to the upside. And as I said, in case price continues to fluctuate within this territory, as you can see, it is now in a consolidation on a weekly chart again. If price continues to fluctuate on this in this zone on a daily chart, you can see it in a better way. If price eventually continues all the way into this zone, I am ignoring this move to the downside until price will successfully break this and consistently trade below this line. Otherwise, I still expect that we can get more fluctuations in this zone, but eventually I am looking for the move to the upside, and that's the way I think I'll be trading these two pairs. Let's see how they play out, and we will be updating each other next week.